What if you could fill your garden with flowers just once and enjoy them returning every year without having to replant? Picture yourself stepping outside each spring to find fresh green shoots emerging on their own, bringing more blooms and fuller displays than the year before. Instead of starting over each season, your garden simply keeps getting better with time. That's the beauty of perennial flowers. Once established, they reward you with dependable color, minimal maintenance, and years of reliable performance. In this video, we'll explore 10 incredible perennials that only need to be planted once to provide lasting beauty for many seasons. If you're dreaming of a vibrant landscape that practically takes care of itself, these plants deserve a place in your garden. 1. Shasta Daisy. Shasta daisies have remained a favorite among gardeners for generations, and it's easy to understand why. Their crisp white petals surrounding bright yellow centers create a timeless look that complements nearly every garden style. Beyond their classic appearance, they're valued for their dependable nature and impressive longevity. Once planted, Shasta daisies settle in quickly and gradually develop into larger, healthier clumps. Each growing season brings more stems and a greater number of blossoms, allowing a modest planting to transform into a striking display without requiring replacement. Flowering usually begins in early summer, but with a little routine maintenance, these cheerful blooms can continue well into late summer and sometimes even into early autumn. Simply removing faded flowers encourages the plant to invest its energy in producing fresh buds rather than developing seeds, extending the blooming period considerably. These perennials are wonderfully adaptable, they flourish in full sun, and tolerate summer heat remarkably well. Their biggest requirement is well-drained soil. Interestingly, overly fertile soil can actually reduce flowering because it encourages excessive leafy growth instead of blossoms. Maintenance couldn't be much easier. Deadheading spent flowers and dividing mature clumps every few years helps prevent overcrowding, while keeping plants vigorous and productive. Division also offers an easy way to create additional plants for other areas of the garden. Shasta daisies are equally valuable indoors and outdoors. Their sturdy stems make excellent cut flowers that last well in bouquets, while their blooms attract bees and butterflies, helping support beneficial pollinators throughout the growing season. Year after year, they prove themselves to be dependable performers that return stronger, bloom generously, and require very little effort in return. 2. Yarrow. Yarrow is one of those remarkable perennials that actually seems to thrive when conditions become challenging. While many garden plants struggle with drought, poor soil, or intense heat, yarrow continues growing confidently, producing beautiful blooms with very little attention. Its flowers appear in broad, flat clusters that rise above finely textured foliage on sturdy stems, adding both color and architectural interest to the landscape. Available in shades of white, yellow, pink, red, peach, and gold, yarrow fits effortlessly into a wide range of garden designs. One of its greatest advantages is its extended flowering season. Blooming begins in early summer and often continues for many weeks. Regularly removing faded flower heads encourages the plant to keep producing fresh blooms, providing a longer-lasting display. Yarrow asks for very little in return. Rich soil, heavy fertilization, and frequent watering aren't necessary. In fact, they can even reduce the plant's performance. It grows best in sunny locations with well-drained, relatively lean soil. Its impressive drought resistance comes from an extensive root system capable of reaching moisture deep beneath the surface. This allows yarrow to remain healthy and colorful even during long periods of dry weather, making it a perfect choice for water-wise landscapes. The flowers are highly attractive to bees, butterflies, and many other beneficial insects, while pests and diseases rarely become serious problems. Another bonus is that yarrow makes an outstanding cut flower. Fresh arrangements last well, and the blooms also dry beautifully, retaining much of their shape and color for decorative displays. As the plants mature, they naturally expand into attractive colonies that give gardens a relaxed, meadow-like appearance. When they become too large, dividing them is simple and provides plenty of new plants to share or relocate. Combining toughness, beauty, and remarkable reliability, yarrow is a perennial that continues rewarding gardeners season after season with almost no extra work. 3. Blanket flower. Gaillardia, commonly known as blanket flower, delivers some of the brightest, longest-lasting color you'll find in a perennial garden. Its vibrant flowers blend fiery shades of red, orange, and golden yellow, creating eye-catching displays that immediately energize sunny landscapes. Despite its bold appearance, blanket flower is surprisingly rugged. It flourishes where many flowering plants struggle, tolerating scorching sun, dry conditions, and nutrient-poor soils with ease. In fact, planting it in overly rich soil often results in lush foliage at the expense of flowers. One of its most impressive qualities is its ability to bloom continuously for months. Flowers begin appearing in early summer and continue well into fall, especially if faded blooms are removed regularly. As older flowers are clipped away, fresh buds quickly replace them, creating an almost non-stop display of color. The plants develop into neat, spreading mounds that gradually fill available space without becoming invasive. Their tidy growth habit makes them ideal for borders, cottage gardens, rock gardens, and drought-tolerant landscapes. After establishing a strong root system, blanket flowers become exceptionally drought-resistant. They tolerate prolonged heat, dry spells, and windy conditions while continuing to bloom enthusiastically. Their resilience makes them especially valuable in regions with hot summers or limited rainfall. The open, nectar-rich flowers are irresistible to bees and butterflies, adding movement and biodiversity to the garden throughout the season. At the same time, the plants experience very few problems with insects or diseases, making them wonderfully easy to maintain. Season after season, blanket flower proves itself to be a reliable source of brilliant color. With very little maintenance, it transforms sunny garden spaces into vibrant displays that continue flowering long after many other perennials have finished. 4. Russian sage. Russian sage has a unique ability to transform the atmosphere of a garden. Its tall, graceful stems are topped with countless tiny lavender blue flowers that create a soft, cloud-like effect throughout the landscape. From afar, the plant adds a gentle haze of color, while up close its silvery foliage provides beautiful texture and subtle elegance. Its beauty isn't limited to its blooms. Russian sage also brings valuable height and structure without overpowering neighboring plants. Its open, airy growth habit allows sunlight and fresh air to move easily through the garden, making it an excellent companion for many flowering perennials. It naturally softens bold plantings and ties different sections of the landscape together. Flowering usually begins in midsummer and continues well into autumn, providing reliable color long after many summer flowers have finished blooming. Even outside its peak flowering period, the silver-gray leaves remain attractive, offering contrast and interest throughout the growing season. This perennial performs best where other plants often struggle. It loves full sun, thrives in hot weather, and prefers dry, well-drained soil. Once established, it needs very little water, and excessive moisture or rich soil can actually reduce flowering and produce weaker stems. Maintenance is refreshingly simple. Cutting the plant back hard in early spring encourages vigorous new growth, and after that it requires very little attention. Russian sage is naturally resistant to most insects, diseases, and even browsing deer, making it one of the easiest perennials to grow. Its aromatic foliage offers another pleasant surprise. Brushing against the leaves releases a gentle herbal fragrance that adds another sensory element to the garden experience. As the years pass, Russian sage becomes far more than an attractive flowering plant. It serves as a dependable framework for the garden, adding height, texture, and lasting beauty through the hottest months of the year. 5. Bee balm. Bee balm is one of those remarkable perennials that instantly brings a garden to life. Once its flowers begin to open, the entire space becomes filled with movement as pollinators arrive from every direction. Its unusual blooms, resembling colorful bursts of fireworks, appear in shades of scarlet, pink, purple, and white, creating an eye-catching display throughout summer. The flowers aren't just beautiful, they're irresistible to wildlife. Bees, butterflies, and especially hummingbirds flock to the nectar-rich blossoms, filling the garden with constant activity and making every visit outdoors more enjoyable. Strong, upright stems lift the colorful blooms above dense green foliage, creating both height and fullness. This balanced growth habit allows bee balm to stand out while also helping fill borders with lush greenery. Flowering generally begins in early to midsummer, and with proper care, the display can last much longer. After the first flush fades, trimming the plants encourages fresh growth and often rewards gardeners with another impressive round of blossoms later in the season. Bee balm grows happily in full sun but also performs well in light afternoon shade, particularly in hotter regions. It appreciates fertile, well-drained soil that stays evenly moist. Adequate spacing between plants is important because good airflow helps prevent powdery mildew and keeps foliage healthy. The leaves provide another bonus. When crushed or brushed against, they release a refreshing fragrance with hints of mint and citrus. Many gardeners also enjoy using the aromatic leaves to prepare herbal teas. As bee balm matures, it naturally expands into larger clumps that can be divided every few years to maintain vigor and create additional plants. More than simply adding flowers, bee balm fills the garden with color, fragrance, wildlife, and energy throughout the growing season. 6. Garden phlox. Garden phlox is an outstanding perennial for anyone looking to combine brilliant color with unforgettable fragrance. Its large, rounded flower clusters create bold splashes of color that immediately attract attention and become standout features in summer borders. Blooming begins around midsummer and often continues until late summer, providing valuable color during a time when many earlier flowering perennials are slowing down. This dependable flowering period helps keep the garden looking fresh and vibrant well into the season. One of the plant's greatest attractions is its rich, sweet fragrance. The scent becomes especially noticeable during the evening hours, making garden phlox an excellent choice for patios, seating areas, pathways, or beneath open windows where its perfume can be fully appreciated. Available in an impressive range of colors including pure white, soft pink, vivid magenta, deep purple, and rich red, garden phlox complements both subtle planting schemes and bold, colorful landscapes. For the healthiest plants, choose a sunny location with fertile, well-drained soil that retains consistent moisture. Unlike drought-loving perennials, phlox performs best with regular watering, especially during prolonged dry weather. Good air circulation is equally important, so giving plants enough space helps reduce the risk of powdery mildew. Removing faded flower heads encourages a longer blooming season, and lightly trimming plants after the main flush may even produce another smaller wave of blossoms. Butterflies are frequent visitors to the nectar-rich flowers, bringing additional movement and beauty to the garden. As mature clumps expand over time, dividing them every few years keeps plants vigorous while providing new additions for other planting areas. With its vibrant flowers, delightful fragrance, and strong garden presence, garden phlox delivers beauty that appeals to nearly every sense. 7. Helenium. Helenium truly shines as summer begins giving way to autumn. While many flowers are winding down for the year, this outstanding perennial reaches its peak, filling the garden with rich shades of yellow, orange, crimson, and warm copper that perfectly capture the colors of the changing season. Its daisy-like blooms feature gently drooping petals surrounding raised central cones, creating flowers full of texture and character. When planted in generous drifts, helenium forms broad waves of glowing color that bring remarkable warmth to the landscape. This perennial thrives in full sunlight and grows best in fertile, well-drained soil that remains evenly moist. Unlike drought-tolerant species, helenium appreciates consistent watering throughout its active growing season. In return, it produces an abundance of blooms that continue for many weeks. Pinching or lightly trimming stems earlier in the season encourages branching, resulting in bushier plants with more flowering stems. This simple technique also helps reduce excessive height and create stronger, more compact growth. Its upright habit makes helenium an excellent choice for adding height and structure to mixed borders. It combines especially well with ornamental grasses and other late-season perennials, producing layered displays that remain attractive into fall. The flowers are a valuable nectar source for bees and other beneficial pollinators, increasing both the beauty and ecological value of the garden. As many summer flowers begin to disappear, helenium takes center stage, ensuring the garden remains colorful and full of life right through the arrival of autumn. 8. Lupine. Lupines are among the most dramatic perennials you can grow if your goal is to add height and bold vertical interest to the garden. Their impressive flower spikes rise high above the leafy foliage, creating striking architectural accents that immediately capture attention. Planted in clusters, they produce an eye-catching display that brings depth, texture, and a natural rhythm to any landscape. One of the reasons gardeners love lupines is their incredible range of colors. You'll find everything from soft cream, pale pink, and lavender to vivid blue, rich purple, sunny yellow, and stunning bicolored varieties. Whether your garden follows a subtle color scheme or celebrates vibrant contrasts, there's a lupine to match. These beautiful plants offer more than visual appeal. As members of the legume family, lupines naturally enrich the soil by capturing nitrogen from the air and releasing it into the ground through their roots. This process improves soil fertility and benefits neighboring plants, making lupines both ornamental and environmentally valuable. For the best results, plant them in loose, well-drained soil, where excess water can drain away easily. They enjoy full sun but also appreciate some afternoon shade in regions with particularly hot summers. Good drainage is essential because overly wet soil can damage their deep roots. Lupines usually put on their spectacular floral display from late spring into early summer, providing one of the season's earliest bursts of vibrant color. After the main flowering period, removing spent flower spikes may encourage certain varieties to bloom again later in the year with a smaller second display. As they mature, lupines develop long tap roots that help anchor the soil while drawing nutrients from deep below the surface. Although individual plants may not live for many years, they frequently reseed themselves, allowing fresh generations to appear naturally and keep the display going. Their nectar-rich flowers are especially popular with bees and other beneficial pollinators, making them an excellent addition to wildlife-friendly gardens. With their impressive height, vivid colors, and ecological benefits, lupines become both a stunning focal point and a valuable contributor to the health of the entire garden. 9. Dianthus. Dianthus proves that small flowers can make a lasting impression. This compact perennial is admired for its finely detailed blooms, many of which feature delicately fringed petals and attractive two-tone coloring that gives each flower a beautifully intricate appearance. Another reason gardeners treasure Dianthus is its delightful fragrance. The blossoms release a gentle, spicy perfume with subtle clove-like notes that become especially noticeable near walkways, patios, or outdoor seating areas. Rather than overpowering the senses, the scent creates a pleasant and inviting atmosphere. The plant forms tidy cushions of blue-green foliage that remain attractive even when flowers aren't present. Its neat growth habit makes it perfect for edging borders, filling gaps between larger plants, decorating rock gardens, or adding elegance to containers and raised beds. Flowering usually begins in late spring and continues through much of the summer if faded blooms are removed regularly. Although later flowers may be slightly less abundant than the first flush, they help maintain consistent color throughout the season. Dianthus performs best in sunny locations with well-drained soil. Once established, it tolerates dry periods surprisingly well, while prolonged wet conditions can be more damaging than occasional drought. Proper drainage is one of the keys to keeping plants healthy year after year. Maintenance is wonderfully straightforward. Occasional trimming, regular deadheading, and dividing mature clumps every few years are generally all that's needed to encourage vigorous growth and continuous flowering. Although Dianthus isn't the tallest or most dramatic perennial, it excels at adding fine detail, delicate fragrance, and polished beauty that brings balance and refinement to almost any garden design. 10. Veronica. Veronica, often called Speedwell, is one of the most dependable perennials for adding elegant structure and reliable color throughout the growing season. Its slender flower spikes rise neatly above the foliage, introducing strong vertical lines that contrast beautifully with rounded flowers and softer plant forms. The blossoms grow densely along each upright stem and appear in shades of blue, violet, pink, and white. Their clean, organized appearance allows Veronica to fit comfortably into both formal gardens and relaxed cottage-style plantings. One of its greatest advantages is its long flowering season. Blooming generally begins in early or midsummer and continues for several weeks. By removing faded flower spikes, gardeners can often encourage another flush of blooms that keeps the display going well into late summer or even early autumn. Veronica thrives in full sunlight and prefers fertile, well-drained soil with moderate moisture. Once established, it adapts well to changing conditions and usually performs best without excessive fertilization, producing stronger stems and more balanced growth. Its nectar-rich flowers are highly attractive to bees, butterflies, and other beneficial insects, bringing valuable pollinators into the garden while adding movement among the blooms. The plant maintains a tidy, upright growth habit that blends easily into borders, mixed perennial beds, and carefully planned landscape designs. Since it spreads slowly and stays well behaved, it provides structure without becoming invasive. As the years pass, Veronica quietly earns its place as one of the garden's most dependable performers. While it may not always demand attention, it consistently adds balance, rhythm, texture, and long-lasting color, helping create a landscape that feels complete from the beginning of summer until the arrival of fall.